we use in general, I think, to just make certain decisions, or I don't know, maybe we kind of judgments, whatever. But that's how I tend to get my information without going too deep in terms of spending time in a relationship.
So you just look at people and say, hey, you got some issues going on.
I say, hey, you look nice. And that is not necessarily what you look like aesthetically. You may look nice because you have moderation. Mm-hmm. If you have a whole lot of makeup on, I know you spend a whole lot of money on makeup.
Not necessarily.
But if you have a whole lot of makeup on, where is it coming from?
I mean, she doesn't have to
It
spend
ain't from
like
the night
splurge
before,
on it.
or she just putting it on top of it, just freshening up. It's got to come from a brand new source, right?
I mean,
but you don't know
women,
how she. Yeah, women don't have to
we
spend
don't
a
buy
lot
like
of money.
that.
Yeah,
You don't have to spend a lot of money on makeup.
No.
you don't have to.
Not at
You
all.
don't have to.
You don't have to.
So again,
Because
they don't have to spend a lot of money, but we don't know if the have to is really a part of her. Bargain shopping is not something that everybody does.
Right.
Otherwise, it would just be called shopping. Right. So not knowing whether or not they spend a lot of money on makeup, and that's just an example. I'm just saying there are things you can see.
Yeah.
Where after you've seen them enough times, you can identify, okay, well, this person spends money either wisely or perhaps they don't.
But
see,
see, you
don't
know my
know
background.
that. Yeah,
you don't know my
that.
background, so you don't even know what I'm like. How I'm getting this money to go ahead and do what I need to do.
True.
When-
I don't
when
know
you're
how
just
much money
looking
you
at me,
make.
so you're being judgmental.
Yeah, and you have your biases about money. And
You
and
ask me, how do I make a decision on whether or not I'm going to have a conversation with someone about something like money?
But I don't think you should have those conversations when you're just dating. I mean, you can have simple. I don't know how you would even break those conversations in when you're newly into a relationship.
You
I
wouldn't.
don't. No, you wouldn't.
You
and
pay
I don't,
attention.
You pay attention, but you also don't get full disclosure or knowledge just by looking at somebody, because you don't know how much I could make.
I could be
90
homeless
I
and
could-
still look good.
Yeah, or I can make $90,000 a year, and I give myself a $2,000 budget a month to spend.
Right.
I mean, you just don't know those things.
But is that on makeup alone that you spend
It could be.
$2,000 a month?
no, I don't think any
Right.
woman spends that much money on.
Right. Whatever your budget is for those things,
Yeah.
it will identify what your value is. I mean, it's like the scripture says, where your treasure is,
Yeah.
there will your heart be also. So there's certain things that show up as a treasure. For example, food could be a treasure, and you can see that's a treasure in this person's life.
Cam is throwing shade
Cam
at
is
you.
going at it. Cam, I wish you were here so bad. Cam said you're out here buying surprise gifts and flowers for the office. Red flag.
Get off my examples. Nobody buying no flowers for the office.
We may
just
need
said
to,
that.
mhm, we may need to take this into the next show. This is a good topic. A lot of stuff to talk about, but we're going to let's get with our final thoughts. Let's start with O. Final thoughts, O.
Man, my final thoughts. I would say, I'm just going to read something a friend of mine posted. He said, people are afraid to look at the relationship at any stage as a business first. Because we don't educate ourselves financially, we have those fears. And that has a lot to do with, and that was a friend of mine named Imanu. I agree with that, where there's things that we don't know because we just don't know. And when it gets presented or brought to light, we become afraid because it's ignorance. We just don't know. And we lash out from whatever place we've come from in a space that we know nothing about. So I would say that there's a lot to be learned, and be careful how you entertain certain conversations and certain approaches. Even with what you guys are saying, you saw it as me being judgmental when I look at someone and make some decisions or determinations. We all do that. It is something I'm working on, but I think we all should be careful as to how we approach things in life, especially financial relationships, because it doesn't necessarily have to just be between a man and woman, husband and wife. It can be business partners. It can be business relationships as far as co-workers. It could be church membership, all kinds of things. But yeah, and overall, I would say my final thoughts is, it's never too late to be relevant for you to do things the way you do it, including how you spend your money.
Yeah. Mar, final thoughts?
Basically, I feel that you have to be open. You need to communicate about finances. You need to have a come to Jesus moment. Sit at the table and talk about it. Seriously. Yeah. It shouldn't be anything that's hidden. It should just be up for it. As for me, I do like surprises. So if you do say, hey, surprise me for this trip or surprise me for this, I like stuff like that. But my husband and I have been in a marriage a long time. So we pretty much have a little system going on. I think that's it. You just have to be open. You have to communicate. Communication is the key. Mm-hmm. Don't hide it.
Yeah, you had a shout out?
Oh, yes, I do have a special shout out. Shout out goes to my homegirl, Nikki. She has a special business. It's Lynetta Spencer presents Cert to Cycle to Greater Cleveland area. It's a hip-hop cycling, dancing on a bike, y'all, getting it in. It's going to be located at 5207 Northfield Road. The grand opening is tomorrow at 4:30. Make sure you follow her Instagram page at Lynetta Cert to Cycle for more details.
Okay. So my final thought.
Hold on for your final thoughts.
How you dance on a bike?
Yeah.
It's dope.
If you ever made a grilled cheese,
oh yeah, it's a good one.
The cheese melts. But if you never drink water, it never dries. Why? Because water is wet, but it's only wet when it touches you. But if it's dry, it's because the sun is dew.
Ooh. I don't know why you give him the mic. You're not supposed to let. No,
waiting on him.
No,
please let me say it.
No, you're not saying anything.
I
can't.
Please let me say one thing.
No, I can't.
Real quick.
I'm not.
Oh my God, Nick, this one's.
What is it?
Dre, let me ask you this question. You have 12 fish. 6 of them drown. How many are left?
12 fish, 6 drown. Mm-hmm. You have 12 fish.
Good job. Because fish don't drown.
You know what?
Come on, man.
I can't with you all. I just can't. And Cam, we don't need you chiming in. Look, my final thought.
Oh,
marriages and relationships are based on trust and openness. And I think, like my aunt taught me years ago, anything kept secret is a lie. So that's basically it in a nutshell. You have to be transparent. You have to be open. You have to communicate about things. About money will tear people's relationships up. Yeah. And if it is the one major cause of divorces, it needs to be talked about. Things need to be communicated and explained and expressed.
True.
But I think you need to give each other the proper respect and space to do what needs to be done to build your relationship and to build your home. Finances are important.
True that.
They're important.
All day, every day.
And they will cause divorce. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to get divorce levels down.
Right.
So there needs to be some conversation. Anything else from you guys?
Nope.
No. Nothing else from Andre. Yeah, you're not getting the mic. We thank you guys for tuning in. We thank you guys for, being on Spreaker Live for all of our listeners. Please remember that our live show and mixer is July 18th at 7 o'clock. 18th at the Bop Stop. You can get your tickets at themusicsettlement.org or go or go on our IG page and reach out to us. We do have physical tickets. Yeah, you can get tickets from us personally. We love you guys. We thank you for tuning in. As always, be good to you, be good to others, and infuse love in everything you do. Peace.
It's the drip.